Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be practicing dividing bigger numbers like 4-digit and 5-digit numbers by a 2-digit number. Let's start by looking at this problem. 5,678 divided by 45. Our first step is to look if we can put 45 into 5. We can't, so let's look at 56. We can do this. The most times we can put 45 into 56 without going over 56 is 1. We multiply, write that under, and subtract, and we get 1 and 1, so 11. Our next step is to bring down the next digit, 7. Now we're trying to see how many times 45 can go into 117 without going over 117. The max number is 2. So let's multiply. 45 times 2 is equal to 90. And when we subtract, we get 7, and then we can cross out this, becomes 0, and we write 11 here. So 11 minus 9 is equal to 2. So we have 27. Then finally, we're going to bring down the last digit, and we get 278. Now we're doing 278 divided by 45. Since this is a bigger number, we're going to have to do a little bit of guessing. So I'm going to estimate 45 to be 50 and 278 to be, let's say, 280. So the number of times I could fit 50 into 280 is around 5. So let's try that first. Then we multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. We write the 5, carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 2 is equal to 22. Now let's subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3, 7 minus 2 is 5, 2 minus 2 is 0. This is too big of a number. 53 is bigger than 45, which means that we can probably fit one more than 5 into this. So we're going to erase this again. We're going to write 6. Let's do 45 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30, so 0, carry the 3. 4 times 6 is 24, plus the 3 is 27, and then now we subtract, and we just get 8. Now we can't do anything else, so 8 is our remainder, and it works like that. So our answer is 126, remainder 8. Now let's try another problem. 5,678 divided by 87. Our first step is to look at the first digit. It doesn't work, so the second digit also doesn't work, so we go to 3 digits, 567. Again, this is a number that we don't know off the top of our head, so we can do some estimating. 87 is, we can round up to 90, and 567 we can round up to 570. So 90 into 570. The closest we can get seems to be 6. 90 times 6 is 540. So let's try that. 7 times 6 is 42. So we write the 2, carry the 4. 8 times 6 is 48, plus the 4 that we carried over from before, and we get 52. 7 minus 2 is 5. 6 minus 2 is 4. Now we're left over with 45. We're going on the right track. So our next step is to carry down, or to bring down the 8. And now we have 458. Let's do some guesstimating again. So 87 becomes 90, 458. Let's try rounding that down to 450. 450 divided by 90 is equal to exactly 5. So let's try that and see if it works. 5. So when we multiply, we do 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 8 times 5 is 40, so plus the 3 from before, we get 435. Now let's subtract. So 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. So now we have 23. And that's less than 87, and we don't have any other steps to go. So now we know that the remainder is 23. So our answer is 65, remainder 23. Let's try another problem. This one will have 5 digits. 10,247 divided by 35. Now our first step is to see whether we can go into 1, 2, or 3 digits. And it looks like 3 digits is the first thing that we can tackle. So how many times can 35 go into 102 without going over 102? It seems like twice is the most. So let's put a 2 here and multiply. 35 times 2 is equal to 70. And then when we subtract, we have 2 minus 0 is 2, and then 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. So we have 32, and that's less than 35, so we're on the right track. Now the next step is to bring down the 4. And now we see 35 goes how many times into 324? Well, this is a little bit less than 35 times 10, which is 350. So let's try 9 is a good number to try. 5 times 9 is 45, but the 5 carry the 4, 3 times 9 is 27, add the 4, and you get 31. We seem to be on the right track. When we subtract, we can cross this out, this becomes 1, put a 1 here. So 14 minus 5 is equal to 9. And everything else is 0, so we have a 9. Now the next step after this is to bring down the 7. So now we have 97. And again, the closest we can get to that is 2. So 35 times 2 is 70. Subtract 7 minus 0 is 7. And it's not 9 minus 7 is 2. 27 is left. That is going to be our remainder. So our answer is 292, remainder 27. Now let's do another problem. This problem will be 54,106 divided by 37. First step is to see we can put 37 into 54. That's the first 2 digits. And it can only go in once. So 37 times 1 is 37. And then we subtract. And you can do this in your head or you can do this on paper. This becomes 4. This becomes 14. 14 minus 7 is equal to 7. 4 minus 3 is 1. So 17. Now the next step is to bring down the next digit. So 171. Now we're trying to estimate how many times 37 can go into 171. I think the closest that we could get to it is, I'm going to guess, well, 37 rounds up to 40, 170, we can say that is 170. I'd say 4 might be the highest that we can go in. Right, so we're going to write 4 here, and then we're going to multiply out. So 7 times 4 is 28, so we write the 8, carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 2 from before, and now we have 148. And now we're going to subtract. So we can cross out this, becomes 6, this becomes 11. 11 minus 8 is equal to 3. 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. So we have 23 left, and that seems to be right. Now the next step is to bring down the next digit, which is the 0. Now we're trying to fit 37 into 230. So our first step is to round 37 up to 40, and then 230 can stay as it is. The closest we can get seems to be 5. So let's try 5 for now. 7 times 5 is equal to 35. Write the 5, carry the 3. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. Add the 3 from before, and we get 180. And then we subtract. So we can carry. So 10 minus 5 is equal to 5. 12 minus 8 is equal to 4. Now this is too much, so we're going to have to erase and start over. So what I'm going to do here first is since 5 was too little, now we're going to try 6. So 7 times 6 is 42. Put the 2 down, carry the 4. 3 times 6 is 18, so now we have 22. Now we subtract, that's 8. That's a good number. And our next step now is to bring down the next number. So we have 86. And it seems like the most we can put into 86 is 2. So times 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. Put the 4 down, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, and now we have 74. Now we subtract. I can do this in my head. It's 12. And we can't do anything else. So our answer here is 1,462, remainder 12. Now we just have one last problem to do. And that problem is 56,936 divided by 61. Now our first step is to see what's the farthest, how many digits we can fit 61 into, and we can't do 2 or 1, so let's try 3. Now we're going to estimate. So 61 we can round down to 60, 569 we can go up to 570. It seems like the closest that we can get to it is 540, which is times 9. So we're going to write 9 right here, and we're going to multiply out. So 1 times 9 is equal to 9. 6 times 9 is equal to 54. Now we subtract, that's 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. That seems to work, so we do our next step, and we bring down the 3. 203. Now, just by looking at it, it looks like the closest we can get is just times 3. So let's try 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Now we subtract, that's 0. 20 minus 18 is equal to 2. So now we have 20, which is we're still on the right track. So then our next step is to bring down the last digit, so 6. 206, that's pretty close to 203, so we know that 3 is going to be our last digit too. And that's 183 from before. Now we subtract 6 minus 3 is 3. 20 minus 18 is 2. So we have 23 left. And so now we know that our answer is 933, remainder 23. That concludes our practice with very large numbers divided by 2-digit numbers. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.